Okay, so what we've got at this point is basically the raw material for the system. Um, there's lots of different types of information in here. There's goals, there's action steps, there's supporting information, there's all sorts of stuff. So at the moment, it's not a usable system. What most people would do at this point is go, okay, what cool piece of software can I can I use to turn this into a system? But to me, that's wrong thinking, because most software is not there to help you turn one thing into another. It's there to help you, in this case at least, execute it. And so my experience is, if we were to take this into a piece of software now, it would just be a distraction, and there'd be barriers in the way that don't need to be there. You have to kind of work around the way the software works to be able to do it. So treat it, if you're a writer, treat this like your I don't know, it's almost like your shitty first draft, if you know the phrase. You've got all the raw material here, but it's not in a workable form yet. So just stick to like plain text document, and we're going to work through it and turn it into. We're going to turn it into a system here, and then we're going to plug it into software so that it can be used by the business efficiently later. So okay, this is the framework. Overview, owners, procedure, supporting notes, last updated, attachments, videos, and I think there's another section that I typically use. I'm just going to go and have a look for that, because I can't remember. All right, so I was just going to go and find the sections of the systems that I typically use, and come back and show you there. But I thought you might appreciate seeing what this thing looks like when it's finished. So this is our handbook. We've got our mission, policies, risk assessments, procedures, training. What we're interested in, what we're doing here is creating procedures effectively. So, and then it's broken into marketing, sales, operations, finance, HR, management. Just as an example, talk through what these are in a minute. But let's say this is our system for categorizing emails, which is part of our sales process. So we've got overview, owners, procedure, frequency. That's what I missed. So let's go and plug that in. Videos, templates, attachments. Supporting notes, last updated. Okay, cool. So it'll be a distraction if I go through all of this now, but I'm happy to answer questions for anyone who wants to later. Okay, so these are different areas, critical areas. I don't always complete all of these if it's not relevant. You can use different names if you want to. You can reorder them if you want to. But my advice would be just use it. I think setting a boundary and saying I'm going to stick to this template frees you to focus on creating value in the actual system. So, all right, let's just shuffle things around into the proper sections for now. So overview is basically like, what is the system meant to do? What's the goal? What's the end result? What's the purpose? So in this case, it's quite simple. Grow our email list to 100K. That goes in there. Owners are going to be Vicky. So we can have primary owner, secondary owner, additional team members. In this case, I'm guessing that Dickie Bush is going to be the main owner, Ship 30, Nicholas Cole will be the secondary owner. Additional team members, I have absolutely no idea, so we'll just leave that as is. This is very messy, but so be it. Let's just use some bullet points to make it easier. Additional, I don't know any of the additional team members, so I can't do that. Right, so what is this? This is Monday to Sunday, 3 to 5 LinkedIn posts per day. So I think that's mostly frequency, basically. It might go elsewhere as well, but let's just stick with that for now. Timing cadence, when we plan on posting each day. I think this is an overview for now. I changed my mind about that. The tools we'll use to research schedule, let's have a overview. This is from the start of the article where they're saying what's going to be covered, so we can say it's probably what we're going to cover in this system. This is another goal I identified at the time. Drive attention to our digital compass, writing a newsletter. It's also an action step notice, so get to that. So I may change that later as well. All right, so these are roughly the steps, right? So the procedure. 1, create a calendar view for the week in Notion. 2, morning and evening teachings per day. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Frequency. I'm just going to ignore the screenshot notes for now. They're a bit unhelpful. Right. So this is referring to the morning and evening posts. We're just going to do this is related to the step. This is going to be at 8:30 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. in your own time zone. So step 3, make a list of assets you want to plug. I think these are supporting notes because they're just telling us what this is, like the big picture. We don't need to do it to execute. Don't need to know this to execute the system, but we do need to know that this is the overall purpose and approach. All right, so assets to plug. Again, I think this is supporting information. All right, I'm just going to pause for a minute and work through this and then come back because you probably don't need to see me doing every single step on this, so bear with me. All right, so just a midpoint check-in here. I'm just sort of reorganizing the information and turning it into a usable format. So just found some more goals for this. All the way through this process, I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of Dickie and Nicholas and the rest of the team. Like this is, we've got the strategy, we know what we're trying to achieve, we know what the steps are. How do we create an asset in our business that means we can just focus on the meat, get the job done consistently, so we can use the time and energy we might be overexerting now because we don't have the system in place, and invest it in more valuable stuff. And in Dickie and Nicholas's case, that's going to be creating amazing content, distributing their content, and other things like that. So, as I said previously, the raw material that I used in the blog post that I've moved over to here was everything we need is here, but it's not usable or very usable, or not very efficiently usable. So I'm just trying to rewrite it basically and move it all into the right order and put all the pieces of the jigsaw together basically. So I'm continuing to do that. So this is here. They were saying assets to plug in their case are TypeShare, newsletter, Ship30, and the podcast. And they've explained why they want to promote each of those things. So to me, the why is actually the goal. We want more digital writers learning our frameworks. That's the goal. So for the purpose of the system, it's a goal. So we shift it up to the overview for now. I'm also going to leave it here because these are the assets to plug. And we need that. We need that information. So shift 30 is one of the assets on the plug, and then this is Y. So that's the goal. That goes up here. Notice this is really messy. Just like writing, the early phases are really messy and it looks horrendous. But I kind of like this stage because it's like you're building, it's like building a house, I guess. I've never done it, but get all of the raw materials, and you have to just kind of like figure out the most effective and efficient way to pull it together into the end product. And this is what we're doing here. We're not creating anything, we're just building, assembling. So what it's saying here is plug one asset per day, in essence. Simple. This is supporting notes. Like we don't need to know, we don't need to read this every time we implement the system, but we may need to know it if we're stuck and want to get clarity on what plug context actually is and how we use it. So that's a supporting note for now. This is a schedule, so let's call this schedule. What else is it? It's what to publish when, or okay, who publishes what and when. Yeah. So that's very, very useful. This is going to be our procedure because it's saying, in effect, this is saying on Monday, Dickie needs to plug a newsletter in the morning. On Tuesday, Cole needs to plug TypeShare in the evening. By the way, it doesn't have to be Dickie or Cole that do it. Nicholas Cole that do that. Does it say Cole? Yeah, it does say Cole. I don't know him, so I don't want to use the wrong name. But it can be somebody else, which is why we're creating the system, right? We want the end result is we want somebody else to be able to come in. I'm guessing here, if it were me in that position, I'd want to be able to say, right, I'm going to write this thing, and then I want you to follow this system step by step and distribute it so we get the most value and return from it. My guess is that at the moment, Dickie and Nicholas either do this themselves or they ask somebody else to do it, and it's not particularly well systematized. Maybe completely wrong about that, but the principle behind it stands. This is a supporting note. An hour on Twitter is like 24 hours in IRL. Right. So I'm going to say this is an action step, right? So this goes into procedure. Okay, I'm going to keep doing this for a bit and stop the recording, and then I'll come back and explain what I've done. Okay, so this is kind of an interesting step, right? So this is the content from the blog post where Dickie and Nicholas have said this is an optional step where you can post content from Twitter onto LinkedIn in the form of a screenshot, basically. So because it's a blog post and they want people to be able to adopt this, they've explained their thinking and reasoning behind that and how to do it. As a system that gets repeated every day by their team, we don't really need all of this information. So I'm going to convert this now into valuable content for that purpose. So what is it? What do we need to do? So basically the action step is share screenshots, tweet on LinkedIn. Never know whether to use an I, capital I for LinkedIn. Okay, let's do that. So it's saying take viral content from one platform, post it on a different one. Yeah, we got that. This is why. So how do we do this? We basically open Twitter, log in to relevant accounts, open X, because if you were reading this and doing it yourself, there might be some like preliminary steps here where you have to download X, for example, and you may not need to log into the relevant accounts. It's just you, but in their case, they've got multiple people in the team. Open X Chrome extension, and as I said, type in the name of a big name creator. This is it. This is the process. So what's going on the screen here, don't we? The next step is actually look for a standalone tweet that performed well. Then we need to screenshot it. And then we need to probably crop it. Down there, it needs a capital T, but let's be consistent. Save the tweet into XYZ folder, and they can have the same. They can keep all of these in one place then. So go to LinkedIn, upload, make a new post, upload the screenshot. No. So what they would probably do is go to Hype, Fury, Hype Chef, make a new post, upload the screenshot, add it. I would think they might use Hype Fury in this case because I don't think the Twitter aspect of Hype Chef supports image posting on LinkedIn. I have no idea whether Hype Fury does, but I do know that it allows you to schedule, so I'm just going to make an educated guess, and that's what they use. Add a blurb to complement the original post. Tweet. It sounds like they don't routinely tag the creator because these people are probably following them anyway, so they'll notice that they're crediting it. Sharing it, and effectively they get credit for it, whether they want it or not. All right, cool. So here you can see I've just taken what they've written in a blog post to share with other people into this is basically the standard operating procedure for this particular part of their process, sharing screenshots of tweets on LinkedIn. Right, so with a bit of editing, Joe Boggs could come into their business and follow this process step by step, time after time after time after time after time, and get the same result. Got it? Cool. So I'm going to pause again and move on to the next step. All right, so this is interesting. Step 5 in the blog post is create 2 long-form thread/LinkedIn posts per week. So yes, that's a step in the overall strategy, someone that's trying to adopt it themselves, but for Ship 30, and for Dickie and Nicholas, this is actually more than one step. Because what they're saying is the end result is 2 long-form threads and LinkedIn posts per week. But actually, they may not create both of those in one step. Does that make sense? So they might say, well, the steps might actually be write a thread on Tuesday, write a thread. So write thread on Tuesday. Oh, yeah, lost it. write a thread on Friday, publish or schedule. That's just simplicity. Let's just say they write the threads together. Write 2 threads. Schedule on Monday. Schedule 2 threads for next week. Yeah. Okay. So let's roll with this and just pick this apart. That's interesting. So what I'm saying is they usually spend at least 1 to 2 hours per thread. So threads and long form links and content are less template size. So this is saying this is helping people decide when to publish these things, but we already know when they publish it because we've got their calendar. So this isn't useful for this purpose. So this is a key part of the process. So plug one of the assets at the end in the comments on LinkedIn. This is part of this process up here. Which takes 1 to 2 hours. Per thread, so let's separate. I think it's actually simpler. So on Wednesday, 1 to 2 hours. Schedule 2 threads for next week. Actually, if they're doing this, they're probably going to schedule it as they go. So let's say they're doing it in type share. In type share, create new thread, and this could be blank or template. Write one every Monday. If type share, create new thread, blank or templated. Write the thread. Edit the thread. Schedule thread for XYZ dates and time next week. I can get that in a minute from their content calendar, but I'm going to stop that for now. This is actually every Monday and Friday. Right, so and this take 1 to 2 hours. For each implementation. So publish is actually cool. I call this publish thread. I think long and it will take the reason I've separated these. This is the procedure. Each time that they publish a thread and long form LinkedIn post. This is other information that we're going to put into the system. It takes 1 to 2 hours. And we're going to implement this procedure every Monday and Friday. Okay. Edit thread. Plug an asset at the end. edit thread, edit for LinkedIn, plug an asset in comments. Okay, cool. Want to show you that, so I'm going to pause again and move on. All right, so this is the next thing I'm going to work on. So I've got step 6, so create templates for repeatable plugs. So this isn't, as it's written, it's not going to be part of our like ongoing system, because the step in the blog post is just setting up the system, if you like. Dickie and Nick have already created the assets that they're referring to. So they don't need to create templates for repeatable plugs, they've already got them. So rather than, the step is not to create the templates, the step is going to be to effectively use the templates to schedule plugs, or schedule posts that plug their assets. So I need to try and convert that into a system for them. So what we're really doing is scheduling. So schedule plug posts, schedule asset plug posts. So this might happen once a week, once a quarter, I don't know. It can be changed, I don't know what they do. Right, so we've got example template. So we've got the template. What's the process going to be? So we've got a newsletter, testimonials, podcast, etc. Let's just see what the example was. Okay, so later when we put this into some software, I can put this in as a template, so someone can just copy and paste. But let's do that now. So a template for this particular part of the system is this. All right. So this is for the newsletter. If you're so obviously look a lot better when it's formatted properly, but the raw data is good now. Literally all I'm doing is copying it, as you can see. But notice that although there's not much value in me actually writing it down, what I'm doing is turning it into an asset, rather than them having to like write this from scratch or find the template every time the system is implemented. It's all it is in one place. It becomes an asset to them because they can just copy and paste it. So what's the link? Digital writing personal comp. Cool. That's that. Shift my head down here again. Close that. Let's keep working on this. That's the template for that system. So they'll have other templates in here, obviously, which I can probably find and maybe later. But this process is schedule asset plug post. So how would they do that? I think they use Type Fury. So Hype Fury. Open Hype Fury. What does he next? I've never used it, so I'm kind of making an educated guess here. So create new post, add newsletter blog templates, schedule for next open slot on content calendar. So, calendar. Now this seems like it might seem like it's a bit of overkill in terms of the level of detail. Actually, it's not, because what I'm creating here is two different assets basically, which you'll see when it comes together later. But the first one is standard operating procedure. This is detail. The idea is anybody come into the business at any time, follow this, no questions, right? Having said that, obviously, when someone's been doing this for a while, they're not going to want to look at all of the detail every time because they've got it down. There's no need to force them to read every step every time monotonously. That's why it's a bad idea, in my opinion, for people to work from standard operating procedures all the time. If you've read the checklist manifesto, you'll know that the author recommends keeping checklists really short. So that's why I think it's wise to keep project management software, so who does what by when, separate from where your systems and standard operating procedures are documented. So you'll see later, I'm going to create project management, which will have really short checklists. It'll be assigned to a specific person and it'll have deadlines. And then we'll have our system software where the standard operating procedure you see here is documented. This one will link to this one. Someone follows this one routinely on schedule. Short, simple, easy steps. If they get stuck, there's a link to this one. Oh, how do I get the newsletter plug template? Oh, let's have a look at the system and find out. So that's the difference, and that's why I'm going into detail here. And we'll probably go into even more detail. I don't think there's a middle ground, but I'm not worried about great detail because this isn't what people are going to be working from routinely. So they might open the content calendar, open Hype Fury, create a new post, add the newsletter plug template, schedule the posts for the next open slot on their content calendar. So in here, in the templates, we'll need the content link to content calendar. So that will need to be in the supporting notes for this particular system. Cool. And that's probably roughly the process. And then basically, I don't know yet, but repeat for other assets. So by the end of this process, sort of scheduled posts, fill content calendar, fill plug post slots for next week. Literally, or plug post slots for next week. There's the assets, I think. Okay, so I'm going to pause and just unwipe this a bit more. That's going to turn into quite a long video. All right, so what I'm creating now is the system for republishing content from 6+ months ago. The process so far is open type share, go to analytics, sort it, so you can see the most successful content. And then I'm not sure what the next step is, so I'm just going to go into TypeShare, give a bit of a preview if you don't use it. Bear in mind, I've not been publishing on social very long. I'm not very good at it. And so not only do I not have 6 months of content, I definitely don't have any that are massively successful. So it's not going to be that obvious for me, but I suspect it will be obvious for Dickie and Nicholas, who've been doing it very well for a very long time.